Hello, everyone. Today is Wednesday, January the 8th, 2025. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. As a reminder, Benzinga Pro members, we've got a midday Zoom starting at 12 to 1. We'll be looking at new trades or trades that are in continuation and what we have to look for next. But let's start, like we always do, wide angle. And what we notice is we're still in price compression. We did not break any ledges, but we are coming down close to those edges. So after a 2-day morning fade, we could see ourselves a little bounce off of the value area high, and we'll have to see if we continue down through the area. As many of you know, I do think we're in a very broad sideways pattern. And yesterday, I thought we would actually have a bit more price compression than we actually did. I thought it would take us a couple of days to get down to the edge of this region right here at 59.30, but we did it in one day. And so as we go to the hourly chart, let's review from yesterday. What I said was, trend traders would need to be quick. And we did have this monster bounce at 10 o'clock, but the big move continued as we failed to get up over 6,000. That's going to be a key level overall. Right now, you can clearly see we are right in between value area high and value area low for this range that we are considering. And so the thought is that we head down to value area low before a bounce. Now, you can see the traders trying to hold on to this region here. And you can see this big spike up moving with this Keltner channel up into the edge. So here is my thought. My thought today is overall, intraday trend on the hourly formation is down, but very sloppy. Notice, taking the breakdown of a region going to put us in a lot of risk events if we don't wait for the failure to recapture a prior high and then the breakdown of that low. Now, you can use a 15-minute chart, and that ought to give you quite a bit more room. But the big thing to remember is there are buyers underneath us. There are buyers underneath us trying to hold the region, and they got absolutely trashed yesterday whenever they tried to buy these dips. Notice, closing VWAP, they tried to buy here. They tried to buy at the VWAP of the range. They tried to buy a point of control, and every time they bought it up, they failed to make higher and collapsed under the range. So what are we looking at today? Well, first thing that happened, we faded into the close, bounced right, I think it was probably at about maybe 320 or so, maybe we started bouncing. And then, in the overnight, we got to the VWAP area and the point of control and could not get over it. All right. So what are we looking at? Again, the first hour of trading gives us a pretty good range in terms of what we want to watch. So I'm going to move it down just a wee bit. Realize the VWAP is just above it. And if price action is moving quickly, we are going to have ourselves a rotation past the edge up into the resistance zone. So don't just say, hey, I'm putting a limit order in short here at this edge. Let it come in, be patient, and then watch for the fade. Right now we are collapsing, walking down that Keltner band into heavy congestion. So there are going to be buyers here. The best bet is to wait for a bounce, probably around this area of 59.50, and see if it fades. Or you could chase it down, but notice the wicks. Really savage. Okay, really, really savage wicks. Closing of that hourly candlestick really gives us a nice view underneath the VWAP, underneath the moving averages, downward sloping Keltner band. All of those things say, hey, listen, I've got a potential short here that might work out very well. What do we have? Well, momentum is drifting off particularly, but it's right at that zero line. So I expect buyers to come in here and try to defend. We can watch them coming in right now. Look to the left. We can see why they are coming in. This is very heavy congestion. Going to draw a line at that heavy congestion zone right at 59.26. Let's see what Menther Q has And these are yesterday's levels. You want the live ones, you go to Mental Q and chit chat with them. I just love them, make nothing from them, but they are a good lot. This is a little behind, of course, but we can see that, wow, well below our put support areas, because the 0 DTE was at 6,000 yesterday. 5,900 is this line in the sand. I wouldn't be surprised if we got there, broke through it, and then recaptured the event. That's going to be super important for us in general. Holy cow, where did my trend spider chart go? Okay, there we are. All right, let's go to the, all right, so let's say we break down past this level. Where might we end up? The next liquidity band is at 58.74. That's quite a bit lower, so watch out. And remember that trend is going to matter more than the level at the initial pass. Trend and momentum is going to tell you whether something is likely to break that level, even though it's a very important level, and it'll allow us to take the second break if we move into trend and it continues to be lower. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. Boy, I hope that was, I feel like I used a lot of words there. My kids always tell me that I use too many words. Gonna work that out. Okay, so here we are. 250, a big zone that I talked about yesterday. If you do like to follow me, very often I will trade live and put it on the YouTube chat on Top Step TV on the YouTube channel. That is somewhere you'll see me putting my trades out in support of Top Step TV. I love Top Step, and I think they're doing really great things. You check them out there, you can see what I'm trading. I usually trade the NQ, but often I will trade the ES and put up levels for oil, two of my favorites. All right, so here we are. Higher lows. We broke it several days ago, but quickly recaptured. That's an important thing to notice. Momentum, very strong. So even though this number at 21,200 matters, it completely gets wiped away into the lower zone at 20,975 and then recovers. This is the reason we do not want to just put a limit order in when something comes into an area. We just have to say, hey, listen, let me see how far it goes down. Let me see what kind of risk I'm going to assume. But if I've got an upward path here and I've got sideways motion on my moving averages and I've got a widening Keltner band, also, you can use a Bollinger Band if you like. That widening formation will tell you, listen, I'm in a range. And that range is still collapsing. Could we break through here? Absolutely. Absolutely, we could break through here and see 20,974. That's value area high. If we lose this zone, we're going to walk through the heavy congestion events down here at 20,700 or so. And then the bottom of the channel looks like it's somewhere between 20,380 and 20,270. Okay, notice momentum is down, but still in the middle zone, meaning that we've got a cross current of motion. All right, could we head right back up to 21,770 as 0 DTEs and algorithmic trading takes over? Absolutely, but we have selling pressure up there. So if it does that, let it move backwards, come back, and then fail the zone. And that way we know we've got ourselves a hit rate that's much better, okay? So using this formation, my stats show that I've got about 87% trade wins, and it takes patience, right? Yesterday I took 30 trades or 30 entries and exits together, and yeah. So that's where that comes from. All right, so now here we are. Same sort of compression in the YM. Looks a wee bit different though, because trend is quite different. If this is some kind of flag, pennant, whatever we want to call it, should break in the direction of the pole, notice we've got a little bit of a flattening action here in the Keltner channel, meaning that there's a support level that traders are trying to buy. And that support level is right here at around 42,550. That's going to be the zone where you say, hey, if I'm short, I'm going to take some profit and I'm going to trail the stop down. Next liquidity edge is down here at 21,790. However, we do have congestion at 41,970. So a little bit of price action there. Bounces clearly are sell zones. So when does it turn into a buying frenzy? Well, if the shorts get flat-footed and we break out of 43,100, we've got upside pressure likely there that will take us to 43,580. All right, we'll be setting up some things where we do this live. I'm going to be doing some stuff with Menther Q, and we'll be doing some more stuff in the Top Step environment. And of course, you guys always have me on the Benzinga Pro platform as I share some of this information. It also works no matter what stocks you're trading, right? Same sort of mechanical flow. We are watching them try to hold this base. So today we could see a lift off of this area, but be careful buying breakouts because those are very likely to reverse on us at the first pass. We want to see it break out, pull back, and hold this area at 43,100 as new support. Bitcoin. Love the micro Bitcoin. As mentioned, this is a flag pattern. Tons of sellers came in at this 102 area yesterday. Notice, if you're staring it down and you say, oh my gosh, I don't understand. How can I? This is it. Momentum and trend going in the same direction. That's going to give it drift. Okay? If we've got lower highs and momentum is shifting down, we've got that motion that says, hey, listen, if it bounces into prior resistance, 102 is going to be an area. Now, here's what's happening. See how sideways this is? Very, very sideways. It means that traders are trying to hold this range. You can see that by all the volume. So as it pulls in, you look to this area and you go, you know, so far, 91.9, 92, something like that could be the support edge. Notice we have lows that hold. Here's a low, a high. A low that almost holds, right? It just flushes the weak hands coming into this area and then bounces. Then we have the higher high relative to this one, and then a collapse of the range down into this area. So everyone is sitting here thinking, you know what? I'm going to buy here. 95, big round number, 95.5. I'm going to give it a go. And so they're going to try and go long off of this bounce here. Where's your stop? It's got to be 94.4. Right? You're saying, oh my gosh, that's $1,000. Yeah, it moves like that. All right. Just, it's like I don't even know what the move is on micro Bitcoin. I think it's like $1 for, I can't remember. My brain is not working right now. So as we take a look at that, we can see them trying to bounce off this area. So there is the potential for long action here, right? Momentum is drifting up. It's trying to hold the motion, but you can't hold it long into this area because there's too much pressure on the downside that's pushing the chart here. If it gets up over 98, chances it'll get back to that 102 area. Otherwise, I continue to see the drift down into this zone, still looking at 75,000 as the buy zone that I'm looking for. And of course, that's $20,000 away. So, all right, hourly formation, you can see that it's drifting down. Yeah. And so under the VWAP, negative pressure, but momentum is moving up. So the bounces are going to be the best sell zones. Okay. Not the breakdown. You're going to put yourself under quite a bit of risk if you sell a breakdown area here. So if you do that, you want your size to be small, even though you are moving in the right direction of the trend at the moment. Let's take a look at oil. It's back up, bounced. Let's see the daily here. This one, going through the break. Now, you know, my thought is that oil has been changing. I talked about it way back here. And I said, hey, listen, this formation is changing. Sideways events, as I mentioned the other day, I said, hey, listen, last time it went through this area, up, down, up, down. That's traders resolving price action. And we're looking at it here with the breakout above 74.20, pullbacks into 73.20. Have been a solid buy zone. This is getting very extended, but as you know, on a daily formation, these things can stay extended for a longer period of time than potentially on an hourly chart. And this does show us, see, as it gets high here, it doesn't tell us, hey, listen, a short is coming. That's not how you use this. If this is very high, the momentum, then it's going to follow trend, right? But that trend is going to start getting jagged as it moves to the upside. We can see it touching the top of the Keltner band. Every time it does that on the 1 hour chart, if we see it test the edge, pulls back to a lower high, notice as momentum is up, price action will continue to the north. Here we have this upside pressure now at the middle of the band, matches prior resistance / support. Notice if you say, hey, I'm taking a limit order at 74.40 and you go big size and your stop is very tight, you're going to get jammed, right? Right now we're above the point of control. We are well above the VWAP action. This is a sideways motion that suggests pullbacks going to give me some upside pressure. Momentum is still right at the zero line, but in positive territory. And so the dips are going to be buy zones. Watch for the chart to stop making highs. And that's above 75.27. My thought is that it breaks quite a bit to the north. Let's look at gold. From a daily chart, whoa, that's a mess, right? Let's, no, let's not remove the fib. Let's remove this one, this segment. And we can see that we're still in price compression. As I mentioned, 2,700 is resistance in the current formation. We do have positive momentum. That positive momentum can move very, very nicely. Pullbacks are buy zones. See how flat this whole region is? The pullbacks are buy zones. So if you're looking at 2609, great pullback area. I don't know if you're going to get it on a daily chart, but there it is. From an hourly perspective, we're sitting fairly range bound, but we've got ourselves still positive momentum. Old resistance, new support. Let's see, the VWAP is 2650. So maybe 2653, something like that. Do that right there. Right now, buyers are trying to hold 2658. Momentum is a little bit sideways, so kind of looks like a mosh pit, to be honest. And so maybe 2669. Let's see if we can get up over that number. It'll be bullish, push us up to the top of the value area high, 2676. If something rowdy happens today, we might get up into this 2,700. My thought is that, we still stay here. I'm not interested in gold unless it comes back and gives me some sort of really nice fade where I can say, all right, this is a sweet spot for a buy zone. Okay, let's take a look at SPY. Right? Remember, the storyboard is watch your 8 o'clock candle, right? Here it is, 8 a.m. yesterday. Here's the high. Wow, that's a Maribozu candle. It's got no shadow. And then look at what happens. It goes into the prior day's VWAP from the close, bounces above it, and then loses it. Listen, TrendSpider is not expensive, and you can map everything that I'm doing so that you can see it, or you can take your own platform and replicate these things. But I love the closing VWAP of the prior day. It just is such a nice line in the sand to see. There's so many wonderful things about TrendSpider. Really do love them. That's why I do the charts with them every morning. High, lower high. Look at momentum following. Simple things to look at. And then we see, all right, do I break my 8 a.m. candlestick low? And look at what it does. It cuts through it like butter. So the question becomes, oh my gosh, what do I do when something happens like this and it absolutely loses my level without giving me any kind of decisioning that I can follow through? Listen, my favorite thing to do, I know I'm going long. My favorite thing to do is when it starts moving like that, remember, momentum is going to be more important than the level at the first pass when things are rowdy. Okay, so if I am looking at, where's the low of the 8 o'clock candlestick? Right there. I'm looking at that breakdown. This first 15-minute candlestick just says, good night, Irene, right? So if you miss it, the goal is wait for the bounce. See if the bounce is someplace important. That's the point of control. And then, am I under the VWAP? Do I have negative pressure on my moving averages? Is my Keltner band sloping negative? I know it's a short, right? You know it's a short, but look at this noise. If you were trying to hang on here, that would have been pretty tough if you're looking at super tight moving averages. unless you remember the following thing. At some point, resistance is going to tell you what's going to happen. And if you remain under the VWAP, you can trade around the position, but also you can say, okay, I can re-enter that short. I can re-enter that short. And this is my haul, and so we're moving in the direction of that motion. We stay under the VWAP literally all day and just simply walk down until we touch that Keltner band. All right, today's motion looks a little sideways. We've got some liquidity areas sitting right there at prior congestion. Here is the VWAP from several days past at 585. Here is 584 at value area low. And I got to tell you, I love iron condors in environments like this. They just print money. They do. They print money. So here we are, no motion, very sideways. What should we do? We should see buyers come in here. What is the formation telling us? If you want to do this, wait for the close and the formation of the 8 o'clock candlestick, and then move from there. My thought is bounces are very likely to sell. What do we have on the agenda today? International trade, ISM. Wait, no, today's Wednesday. ADP, jobless claims. We've got the employment situation on Friday. EIA report, FOMC minutes. Nothing new. We've seen everything there, right? So that's what's going to happen from that space. So we have a little bit of news, but deep dips. We do see buyers, folks. There are buyers below us. We just have to wait for them to stabilize and then take the trade if we're going long. Okay? And stabilizing means, one, we get to an area of support, we break through the prior resistance, old support, new resistance, we pull back, we make a higher low, and then the haul is the first one to tell us direction is moving up, right there with the momentum, and then we're off to the races. Okay? Cues. Well, yesterday everybody was talking about NVIDIA being down on the bingo card and nobody getting that one. And so my thought is, because NVIDIA's moved to the Dow, it's got a lot more portfolio managers and things watching it, and they are going to adjust prices when it gets out of the range or lifted or whatever it might be. It might have been buy the rumor, sell the news. Whatever the case, these guys took quite a hefty dip. Take a look, 8 o'clock candlestick, 8 to 9, and then it breaks. Once it breaks, you know you're very likely to go in that direction. Whether it's up or down, you wait for the candle close, following it, and then you go, all right, there we go. I'm not sure why the 8 to 9 o'clock candlestick works so well with these ETFs, but they do. They work very, very well, and they give us a beautiful range for extension and motion. Could we draw Fibonacci on that? Probably, but it would get kind of messy. What's the look today? Value area low, 510. Buyers are going to try and save the day here on the midday, but the bounces are sell zones at the first pass. They've got to get up over 518, pull back and hold 515. First pass up, going to be a sell zone. As long as momentum is not straight up when it moves into that area, you could try a limit order right there, right? You've got trend and momentum in your favor. It moves up into the zone. You're in great shape, right? But if it pulls back and it holds a higher low, it's telling you they're trying to resolve price to the north. Overall, great big picture, sideways slop, people. It is a messy place, but a beautiful area for iron condors. All right, everyone, take care, and I'll see you on the streams. Listen, manage your risk. It's the number one goal. Number one goal. Take care.